It's like the Love Boat, but with rats and cannibalism. An abandoned cruise ship full of inbred cannibal rats is reportedly on a collision course with the British coastline. The 328-foot ghost ship has been drifting since last year after a tug line broke while it was being towed from Canada to the Dominican Republic to be scrapped. The Canadian government decided to cut it loose in international waters, and since it's worth about $1 million, salvage hunters are keen to find it. But as one expert points out, there will be a lot of rats, and they eat each other. If I get aboard, I'll have to lace everywhere with poison. No one is more concerned about this than Red Eye's frightened correspondent Joe Machi. Joe Machi, it's headed to the UK, but with currents changing, it could come this way. Are you scared?
Of course I'm scared, Greg, and that's why I gotta blame our neighbors to the north. What the heck are you thinking, cutting a boat loose? I mean, even a boat without cannibal rats just sailing the ocean is dangerous. I mean, I'm staying off the Queen Mary, too.
Yeah, you are. You are. You know, are you fearful of rats, or are you more fearful of cannibal rats? I mean, how dangerous can they be?
Well, they're pretty dangerous, Greg. I mean, just imagine this. A boat full of cannibal rats where the strongest cannibal rats have survived lands in America, starts breeding with our rats. Now we've got super rats. I think that's how sex works.
That's true. They are like, it's like an accelerated evolution of killer rats.
It's like we're breeding super rats. It's the worst.
It is the worst. What should you do if you come face to face with a cannibal rat?
Well, that would probably mean you're on this boat. So I say scuttle the ship. You'll be a hero. Yeah. I'll tell your wife you loved her.
That's heroic. I must say that's heroic. All right, next story. This is interesting. A Rhode Island middle school is warning parents about a growing trend of teens snorting or smoking Smarties candy. I love how we're showing it, how it's used. Joe, is this a gateway drug or a gateway to fun?
Well, it's probably a gateway drug, Greg. I mean, most of the people who tried Big League Chew in the 80s are dead or in jail. I don't have the stats on that.
Do you have any statistics to back that up?
No, we'll have to get Nora on that. I really don't do a whole lot of research. I just go by my instinct.
Yeah, but your instinct is always to be terrified, so you don't probably do research because it scares you.
Well, I mean, this world is scary enough without having to read about germs or snakes or cannibal rats.
Yes. Does it have to be Smarties? Can you snort other candy?
Well, that's the thing, Greg. These kids are obviously not that bright because you don't even have to crush up pixie sticks. They're pre-crushed.
That is a very good point. Well, maybe it's just the ritual of it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's always kind of fun to do something. You know how people prepare a pipe. You know, maybe that's what it is with these kids. All right, smartphones. Apparently, they're teeming with germs. According to a study, they're 18 times dirtier than public bathrooms. So electronic makers are now building sanitizing devices. But, Joe, is that going to be enough? Should we get rid of these phones? They're all covered with poop.
Well, I mean, I don't think we should get id of them because you'll have to face the scary prospect of a cancellation fee. But I'll tell you what, I'm not going to ask out any ladies with smartphones. Get rid of that phone, ladies. They want this.
Well, you know, I mean, the fact that you're not asking out any ladies with smartphones, that means you have quite a choice of women, I guess, now, Joe.
Well, it's actually pretty tough out there, Greg. It's not just former Miss New Yorks that are having trouble in the dating world.
Oh, really? Well, you know, I mean, the fact that you share that in common with Joanne, maybe that's a sign that there might be a spark involved.
Why, did she say something?
What? No, I think she did say that she dated somebody that you remind her of, but she said it in a very grim way.
He must have been a pretty good-looking guy.
Yeah, it was. Okay, I want to do this story. We talked about it a long time ago with you, Joe. It's a follow-up. Toilet snakes. They're again on the rise. Toilets coming up through the toilet. Now in Australia, they had to be called to 4 different homes in the past month to fight these toilet snakes. Should we expect this in the U.S.?
Well, the bad news is that the snakes are already here. Thank goodness we've had this cold snap. It's been a good week. A lot of pythons have died.
I had no idea that the weather kills the snakes.
Well, that's what they were saying, Greg. The rain in Australia has moved these snakes to different locations where they've ended up going into pipes, and some of those pipes lead to bathrooms.
Yes. Are you even bothering to use indoor bathrooms anymore?
I very rarely will use an indoor bathroom without pouring bleach in there. Let's see how that snake likes bleach. They hate bleach, Greg.
That's they hate bleach. Last question. Is the snake community somehow sharing information that toilets are a nice place to hang out?
Well, yeah, the snakes know we're complacent. They also know that growing up, there were a lot of pranks where the other kids would say, "Hey, Joe, come look in the toilet. There's a snake." Well, guess what? That wasn't a snake, Greg.
That wasn't a snake. On that note, we got to go. As always, Joe, a frightening experience. Joe Machi. If he's playing in your town, check him out. Coming up,